Hello everybody. So we will be discussing the rest of the topics from automated business processes, chapter 1, ES, CA Inter. So I hope you have gone through the first video. So if you haven't gone through the first video, you can check my YouTube channel playlist. There will be some separate playlist for ES classes. Okay. So far we have covered till challenges involved in business. Sorry, what is that? Which business process should be automated? We have covered in the previous class. So now we'll discuss challenges involved in business process automation. Challenges involved in business process automation. So what are the challenges? Challenges involved in business process. If you want to automate any process, any business process, then there will be some challenges. What are challenges means difficulties. So automated process susceptible to many challenges. Some of them are discussed below. It is susceptible to sorry, it is susceptible to many challenges. Some of them are as mentioned below. So the code for this topic is the code. The memory code for this topic is RISC. R I R I S C. RISC. RISC is the code for this topic. Memory code. Just remember this. So we'll go. So automating redundant process or for redundant process. Redundant process. What is meant by redundant? Just we'll check in Google. Redundant. So when yes, this is how we have to learn. We should not just blindly go through with whatever we know. Not or no longer needed or useful or superfluous. No longer needed. Redundant means no longer needed. Redundant means no longer needed. No longer needed. Okay. So what are the we need not to automate process which are like when we are automating a process, if the process we think it is not at all required, when the automation started, we decided that the process is not required at all. Then what is the point of automating any process? Such redundant process which is no longer required. Sometimes organization starts off some automatic project by automating the process they find suitable for automating without considering whether such processes are necessary and create value or not. They just automate without considering whether such processes are necessary and they create value or not. Okay, this is one point. Like you can go through this one point. If, in exam point of view, you have to write only one point. That is enough. Not to go to very depth. Like if you want understanding, you just go through, just read the entire para and try to remember one line. Whatever I explain, one or two sentences. Those are the important lines. Those are the keywords which you have to remember for exam purpose. Now R is over redundant process, automating redundant process which are not necessary actually in automation. This is one challenge. It's like finding the redundant process is a challenge. What are the processes which are not required is a big challenge here. Okay. So next I for implementation cost. Cost is very important factor because without money we cannot implement automation softwares and there is so much hardware equipment we need. So without software and hardware thing we cannot implement, and also so much technical experts are required for automation for training the employees how to run the machines, also how we have to implement. So it will take a lot of expertise. So we have to hire experts for implementing the automation of various business processes. The implementation of automated business process may have an expensive proposition in terms of acquisition and or development cost. If you want to acquire a automation system also, it will be costly. Also, if you want to develop also, it will be costly. cost of automated system, and special skills are required to operate and maintain these systems. So there are certain special skills we need to automate, like to maintain the automated systems, or also to operate such systems. In such case, we need to have expertise people. If our staff is not ready for maintaining or operating those systems, we have to give training for them. That is also very costly. So this is implementation cost, second challenge. S for staff resistance. When a process has been automated, staff will definitely lose some jobs. Okay, if there is one process, assume bread manufacturing company is there. For example, bread manufacturing company is there. Bread manufacturing, what they'll do, they take the raw material, they'll prepare the dough, they will bake it, and they have to cut the pieces, or they have to pack. Around some 4 to 5 people have to involve while making the bread. Okay, while making a bread, from purchasing raw material and making the dough and all, till the package, and also for sending or sales, it will require so many humans. What happens if you purchase a machine? If you pour the raw material powder, then and water and whatever other substances, then it will automatically prepare the dough, and also it will bake the breads, and it will give the packaged breads. Okay, in such case, so many people are not required. 4 2 people are not required. Only one person is required, or 2 persons maximum. That's all, to maintain the system, that machine, right? So in such case, around 3 people out of 5 people, 2 people are required now. So who are the top skilled people will be maintained, and the other 3 people will lose the job, right? So what happens if the company want to purchase the machine, then the employees will resist. Employees will say, no, sir, no, we don't want the automation. We will lose the job. So we will lose our salary. So our families will be in trouble. So they will resist. So in most cases, human factor issues are main obstacle to the acceptance of automated process. Staff may see automation process as way of reducing their decision making power. Either they lose job, or they lose the decision making power. They lose the authority also. Sometimes if the machine is taking its own decisions, they lose the authority. When they lose the authority, they will not be having so much importance in the organization, right? So this is due to the reason that with the automated process, the management has a greater visibility of the process and can make decisions that used to be made by the staff earlier. Moreover, the staff may perceive automated process as threat to their jobs. So it will be a threat to their jobs, and also they will lose their decision making power. They will think that it will reduce the decision making power. Also, it will become a threat to their jobs. RISC. Then C for complex processes. Complex process. Defining complex processes. Defining complex processes. First one is redundant process, implementation cost. S for staff resistance. C for defining complex processes. Complex process. What is complex? It is a process which is very complex. The entire process is a very complex process. It is not easy to understand, or it is not easy to do. Okay, BPA requires re-engineering of some business processes that requires significant amount of time to be allocated and spent at this stage. This requires a detailed understanding of the underlying business process to develop an automated process. So it is very difficult to define. Like, define means what? Just understand. Define means to explain or understand, to make a clear, to get the clear picture of the process. If the process is very complex, if the process is very complex, it is difficult. What is the process is very difficult and it is very complex, then it is understanding itself is a big challenge. And then, like, automating such process also will become a big challenge, and implementation will become a big challenge. Again, maintaining and operating will also become a big challenge. So complex processes are very difficult to automate. That's what they are trying to say. Challenges. What is challenges? If they ask in the exam, challenges related to PPA, then this is risk, RISC. Redundant process, implementation cost, staff resistance, and C for complex processes. Okay, this is this. Next question is implementation. There are so many paras about this. I cannot explain all this, so you have to go through. Just do one reading. One reading is more than enough. I'll explain what all are important for exam purpose. What are important for exam purpose, I will be explaining. Okay, you have to come to this chart. Steps involved in implementing automation, business process automation. Steps involved in implementing business process automation. What are the steps involved in implementing a business? Like if you want to implement, if there are so many manual business process in the organization. Okay, but they want to make a automation. Either some process they want to make complete automation, or they want to make semi automation. Semi automation means 50%. Some task will be performed by machines and software. The remaining will be performed by humans. So they can do anything. But how? Actually, if an organization, they decided for so many reasons, for so many benefits, as we said, discussed above, TVQ IRR. TVQ IRR is the benefit or the benefits of automation, right? So for benefit of TVQ IRR, they wanted to automate their business processes. Assume the board of directors has sat, and one of the board of directors explained the TVQ IRR. So these are the benefits for implementing a business process automation. So they decided, okay, now what are actual steps? So how they will do implementation? How they will automate the entire business process? We'll see. Step 1. First step, define why we plan to implement BPA. Why? First step is why. They have to answer this question. They have to answer to this question. That will give a justification for implementing the BPA. First, they have to define, they have to understand, they have to determine why they have to implement BPA, why they have to automate their processes, various processes are automating. Why, they will ask, right? If the owners are saying, like some board of directors are going and asking the owners, sir, we are automating so many processes, they will ask why. So the person who has explained has to explain why they have to implement automation. So for this, that will give justification. For example, uh, if if there is a restaurant, assume there is a restaurant, they want to automate some process. What is the automation? Generally what happens, the bill will be written manually. Assume the bill will have to manually enter in the computer system, like two chicken biryani, two mutton biryani. Okay, then they have to generate the bill, so that will go to the table. Assume table 2. The In the reception counter, they will write the bill, or they will enter in the system, and they will print, they will give it to the tables will give the cash or card, and the person has to come here and make the payment. Okay, that is manual process. If they want to automate that process, what they can do, the servers will have tablets is every server will have a tablet in their hands. They don't go and write the orders, they go and they see. You would have seen so many five-star restaurants have that facility nowadays. What they say, they will select the table number. They will select the table number, and the table number, under the table number, they will select what is the chicken biryani, how many quantity, 2. Then mutton biryani, 2. Then palav, 3. Dosa, 2. Or any starters, gobi manchu, anything they will select. So if they click OK, then the entire order will go to the kitchen department will see. So we have to prepare these many items within the time limit. They will be having certain time limits. Once the order comes, within 15 or 20 minutes or half an hour, they have to prepare the order to serve to the customers. Okay, the kitchen department will receive the order, and automatically, once it receives, then automatically it will go to the billing department. Billing department will make a note of it and it will immediately print. They don't enter anything. They will just click on print. Also, otherwise there will be some things where automatically print will, once the order is dispatched, the bill will print. Automatically it will come. So that will be given to the customer. Or else digital will be given. Digital bills will be given to the customers. So they can pay. That's how, if they want to implement any automation, they have to define why they have to implement. In this case, what is the process, what is the purpose of automation in the restaurant? What we discussed is they want to save time. They want to save time, and also they want to make controls, to implement controls so as to avoid any leakage of money, or to avoid any difficulties, to avoid any problems that will arise during the process. They are automating so many things in the restaurant. That is why. First they have to define why they have to implement automation of a certain process in the organization. First step. Second step is understand the rules and regulations under which, understand 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 the rules and regulations under which it needs to be complied with. So next, first they will define why we have to implement automation, why we have to automate certain process. They will define. Next step is, if we want to automate certain process, we have to understand the laws, what are rules and regulations as per the law of the land. They have to understand the rules and regulations which needs to be complied. Though you have automating certain process, certain laws and regulations has to be complied. Okay, certain laws and regulations has to be complied. Without that, you cannot automate business. If you do not comply any laws and regulation, there will be so many legal proceedings against the company. Okay, underlying issue is that any BPA created needs to be comply with the applicable laws and regulations. Automation, in the entire automation process, whatever laws and regulations are applicable, you have to comply with that. You have to comply with that. Next, document the process we wish to automate. Document the process. Document. Document the process which we wish to automate. There is one process. Either it is semi automated or completely manual process. First, you have to document the process. First, you have to document. Documentation means you have to take a clear picture of the process and just to make the process, like in a data flow diagram or flow chart, you have to prepare. Basically, flow chart they will prepare. Process they will prepare flow charts. Current process which are planned to be automated need to be correctly without any mistake. The entire process, what is happening now, be it manual or semi manual, anything, whatever process they want to automate, such process need to be correctly, without any mistakes, completely correctly and completely, without missing any part of the process, need to be documented at this step. First step is what? Why. You have to ask why. Then understand the rules and regulations. Third step is documentation. Documentation means documentation should be done correctly and completely. Correctly and completely should be done. What we need to document? Current process. Current process which they are planning to automate needs to be correctly and completely documented. Okay. That is third step. Three steps are over. Fourth step. Now, fourth step, define the objectives or goals to be achieved by implementing. So, once we implement the automation, what are the objectives or goals we want to achieve? Okay, so we have defined why we have defined, and again we understood various laws and regulations. We are documented. Then you have to understand what are the benefits. Okay, we'll automate so many things. So ultimately, what are the benefits? Just like that, we cannot automate, right? It has to be some purpose. We should have some benefits out of it, some objectives. As per your objectives, it should be automated. And if you want to get some, like, you have to reach some goals of the organization, then you have to implement you have to implement the business process automation. Okay, so we have to define objectives and goals. After implementation, what are the results? What are the results our organization will get? So this enables the developer and user to understand the reasons for going for BPA. Reasons for going for BPA. The goals need to be precise and clear. The goals need to be precise and clear, and also the objectives and goals should be smart. This is one important topic. Smart. The objectives and goals should be smart. The objectives and goals of implementing any business process automation should be smart. What is meant by smart? So in exam they can ask this as one question. Okay, it can come for 3 or 4 marks question. What is smart? So objectives and goals should be smart here. So define objectives and goals to be achieved by implementing business. Once the above steps have been completed, entity needs to determine key objectives of the process. Improvement act. When determine goals, remember that goals needs to be smart. Remember that goals need to be smart. What is any goal? Actually, the goal or objective is should not be smart here only. Everywhere, any goal should be smart. Any goal, your personal goal, organization goal, or any government goal, any goal should be smart. What is smart? It should be specific. The goal should be clearly defined. What you have to achieve. What you have to achieve. Specific. If you automate, we have to achieve. Uh, Currently, there are 10 lakh rupees sales are there. In any assume any retail store is there. The retail store currently they are making manual bills. They want to automate, or they are automating so many processes in their packaging and dispatching. They want to automate with machines. So that should be very specific. The goal should be very specific after automation. What is their goal? Is they want to increase their sales. Presently their sales are 10 lakhs. Next 2 years after automation, they want to make it 20 lakhs. They want to double their sales. That is their goal. Very clear. Very clear. It should be measurable. Should be measurable. What is their goal? It should be measured in monetary terms. What is their goal? 10 lakhs. Sorry, 10 lakhs is the current sales. They want to make 20 lakhs. So they want to double it. In monetary terms, what is additional 10 lakhs they wanted to make sales? That is, should be measurable in monetary terms. Again, attainable, achievable through some best efforts. Should be achievable through best efforts. It cannot be something like currently 10 lakh sales are there. After implementation in the next year, we want to make it 1 crore. It is not achievable unless until some great unexpected miracles happens. But it should be achievable. Attainable means achievable. Should be specific, clearly defined, and measurable in monetary terms. Attainable means achievable with the best efforts. The best efforts that it should be achieved. And relevant, it should be in need. Entity should be in need of these. Those objectives and goals should be in need. Unnecessarily they should not make. Okay, we wanted to have some lot of stock. That is their objective. Having a lot of stock in the retail store, what is the purpose? You should have sales first, then you can maintain the stock. Unnecessarily if they want to maintain some heavy stock, what is that is no need to maintain heavy stock without sales. So that is not required. So here there should be need. They want to make it 20 lakhs. They are in need. Why they are in need? The owners are worried since from the investment their returns are very low. The returns are around 5% or 10%. Okay, return on investment is very low, so they wanted the good returns. That is their need. The owners wanted the good return, so that is their need. So it should be relevant. Okay, now 1 second. Okay, so it should be relevant. The entity should be in need of the objective or goal. Okay, next, timely. It should be achieved within the given time frame. It should be achieved within a given time frame. Within the given time frame, it should be achieved. Should not like as we mentioned, 10 lakhs is the next 20 years. It should be next to 2 years. It should be uh, next 2 years it should be 20 lakhs. That is their target, their objective, or their goal should be within the time frame. Should be specific, clearly defined, measurable in monetary terms, achievable with the best efforts, and relevant. That means it should be in need of the objective, and it should be timely, within the time frame it should be achieved. That is step 4, defining objectives or goals after implementing business process automation. Once the automation is happened, what are they expecting? What they want to achieve? That is step 4. Engage the business consultant. Engage the business process consultants. Engage the consultant. Business process consultants. Once the entity has been able to define the above means 4 objectives and goals that should be smart, the entity needs to appoint an expert who can implement it for the entity. Or he has to develop and implement. They have to engage a consultant, means who is an expert in the area. They have to engage, or they have to appoint the expert in the area, and such person has to implement, or he has to develop and implement the automation whatever entity wanted. Okay, next step is calculate the return on investments per project. We are implementing so many processes, so many business processes we are uh, automating. We are automating so many processes. What is the return on investment? ROE means return on investment. So if you are spending 1 crore and the return is very less, then what is the use of automation? Instead of automating, we can go with the manual process only. So we have to calculate the return on investment. It should be monetarily acceptable for the owners or the management. The answer to the question can be used for convincing the top management. Convincing the top management to say yes, yes to the BPA exercise. For automating business process, to convince the top management, we have to tell them, sir, if we spend 1 crore for automation, our sales will be so and so, so and so, and that's how we will recover. As we studied in financial management, return on investment, payback period, and everything is discussed in financial management, right? So you just related to that. Just related to that. Return on investment should be there. Without proper return on investment, there is no use of investing so much money in automation. So the return on investment should be properly justified, so that management will accept, or the owners will accept the automation. Next, development of BPA, development of automation, business process automation. Once the top management grants their approval, the right business solution. Once the top management agrees, then we have to select the right business solution, automation solution. Should be either it can be procured and implemented, or it can be developed and implemented. We can ready-madely available automations will be there. Assume example, there is one manufacturing entity. In manufacturing entity, we are using Tally for accounts, financial accounts. Tally we are using. For inventory management, we are using some other software. For human resource management, we are using other software. For purchases, we are using other software. For sales, we are using some other software. There are different 4 to 5 softwares we are using, and the integration is missing, or everything is scattered, and everything is everywhere. One person has to sit and do the things, and many manual processes are included in that. So once we implement enterprise resource planning, ERP is ready-madely available, right? There are so many ERPs, Oracle and SAP example are there. We can go and buy from them. That will best suit for us. Okay, whatever modules you want, we can get from the vendor, or else we'll appoint one developer, and we'll develop according to our needs. We'll ask them to develop and implement in the organization, covering the necessary business process automation. Whatever process automation we want, we have to get the right business solution. Business solution means it can be either software, or any hardware, or both. Can be either hardware and software, any other thing, any machines, any software will purchase. It's called business solution. Right business solution should be procured and implemented. We can purchase from third party, and implement, or we'll ask some person to implement, develop and implement it. Okay, the last step is testing. Before making the process live, before making the process live for regular business activities include purchasing, sales, invoicing, or manufacturing, or anything that is regular business process, that is actual business of actual operations of the entity. In that case, actual operations of the entity, before making it actual operations, we have to properly test. BPS solution should be fully tested in different scenarios and cases and instances. We have to test in different things, then only it can be made available for the entity for real operations. Without testing we cannot do. So before a company sells a car to you, they will make so many tests they will conduct regarding speed test, durability test, crash test, and other tests they have in the industry. The industry, there will be some certain standards to test certain parameters for a car. So after qualifying the test only, they will make it to the general public. Without testing, they will simply manufacture a car and they will just throw to the customer. The car doesn't work, and the customer met with an accident. He is a dead man, right? He will be a dead man. That's why we have to properly test. Software also same. Software should be tested properly, fully tested. Each case, each parameter has to be tested. Different. Then only we have to make it live for the operation, real operation. So there is actually no code for the 8 steps. This you have to remember order wise. Very easy. First question is why. Just like a story, will understand. So if an organization want to automate any business process, they have to do all these things. First, they have to ask. First, they have to ask why. Why we have to implement. Why we have to implement? If they question themselves, they will. What is the whatever answer they get, that will be the justification. That will be the just. First thing is why. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, we understood. Okay, because of this, we want to implement automation. First thing over. Second thing, they understood. Second thing, they have to understand the laws and regulations applicable for automation. Okay, first thing is why. Then, okay, sir, we want to implement one process. We want to automate one process. For that, what are the laws and regulations that are applicable? What are the laws and regulations that are applicable? They have to understand. They have to comply with that. First thing is why, then understand laws and regulation, then laws and regulation. Why we have to see the legal proceedings first. After entire process is becoming live, entire automation is becoming live, if there is any violation of laws, it will become a big problem, right? So that's why once the question why is over, we have to understand the laws, then document the process. Currently, what is the process? We'll sit and write. Currently what we are doing, we'll sit and write in the paper. Next, okay, first why we have to implement, then understand laws, and then we will document. Fourth step is objectives and goals. Okay, after implementation of this business process automation, after automating various business processes, what are the goals we are going to achieve? We have to understand. That goal should be, we have to list out the goals. That goal should be smart. Smart means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Okay, next, fifth one. Okay, first we understood why, then laws and regulations we understood, then we documented, then we defined the goals and objectives. Next, okay, everything is fine. We have to engage an expert. We'll engage one expert. So, sir, we want this and this process. We whatever documented, we'll throw on his face. So, see the document. This is the present process. We have to automate it efficiently and effectively. You do whatever you want. You develop some software or you take some hardware also. Any machines you take, just make automation of this process. Whatever documented, we'll throw on his face. The engage consultant is over, right? Then sixth step, we have to prepare a detailed project report saying, so to convince the top management, we have to prepare detailed project report showing it to the top management to say them yes, So once the top management is convinced, then only funds will be released, right? That's why we have to convince the top management. Without their approval, we cannot do anything. Okay, seventh step. Once everything is over, once the top management approve, then we have to develop. The guy who has been consulted here, he will help in developing. Okay, whoever guy is engaged here, this guy will develop. Actually, this guy will develop the uh, solution. Either that guy can develop and implement, or we will purchase from outside and that guy will help us to implement. And finally, we have to test run has to be done. That's all. Why? Understand the laws and regulations, document, then define objectives. Objectives should be smart, and engage a consultant, then calculate the return on investment for project and development and testing. That's all. It is over. Okay, I hope I have covered well enough. Mm, Sorry, I forgot to cover the first step. Some points are some important points. Define why we plan to implement BPA. This they can ask in exam. They can ask as a separate question. Just go. We will go through once. Just 4 5 points we'll remember. Why? Why question? Why we plan to implement BPA? Or because generally these are the reasons for which an organization wants to implement BPA. These are the reasons why. Okay, a list of generic reasons. They might ask generic. What are in the exam? They can ask what are the generic reasons for going for BPA by an organization. Generic reasons for BPA. Generic reasons for BPA, business process automation. They can ask like that. Exam. The exam. Okay. So what are the generic reasons for BPA? First thing, first thing is errors. Errors in errors in manual process which are leading to higher cost. That is one point. Payment processes are not streamlined. Don't just have one reading and understand the entire thing is not required. Just one line is enough. Errors in manual processing which are leading to higher cost. Then payment process not streamlined. Then paying for goods and services not received. And one thing, poor data, poor data management. Also you can write poor data management also. Then poor customer service. Uh, Lack of management understanding of the various business process. 1 2 3 4 5 points are there. The remaining you can try to remember if you want. Who data they are not able to properly manage the data. How means like they are not maintaining records properly. They are doing it in the manual books. The books they are writing every time. Sometimes they might miss to write. Sometimes they will forgot to record the sales. Sometimes they forgot to record the receipts. So there will not be proper data management. In the creditors also same might happen. Payment process are not streamlined. It is related to creditors, kind of poor creditors management. Errors there are in manual process like poor data management, poor creditors management. All happens due to manual process only, right? What happens once it happens? Any errors happens, it will be costly. We will lose some money also. And also to rectify certain things, it will require so much money. So management is not trying to understand certain business process. So top management they don't involve like in the operational level. They don't see things very detailed. Actually, they wanted a brief summary of what is happening in the organization in different reports. Management information system (MIS). There will be on separate topic is there. There we'll discuss what by management reports and all types of reports. Management don't go and check everything. They want some reports and they will based on that they will make decision. They are not able to understand what is happening in the manual process. So if they automate, that will become some they will streamline certain process that will help the management to understand easily. And customer service. Customer is made complaint. Okay, the employee concerned department customer service department made a record, but they forgot to resolve the issue. Okay, that is one example. So that is poor customer service. These are the reasons basically why an entity wanted to go for automation of various business processes. Various business processes. Then objectives and goals should be smart. Engage the business consultant, and then okay, developing VPA, testing VPA. Case studies on business process automation. If you have time, you just have one reading is enough. One reading, just understand what is the step one defined by. Same thing, whatever I give an examples that they will explain here again. You can go through with that. Next, risk and its management. I hope BPA basics of BPA we have covered. We'll go to the chapter overview. We'll go to chapter overview. What we have covered, categories we have covered, automation objectives, benefits and implementation. Till implementation we have covered. So now we are discussing risk management and its controls. Risk management and its controls. I hope you are liking my classes. If you like my classes, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading continuously. Also, I'll explain which lectures you have to follow for SM English lectures. I'll suggest English lectures, and also I'll suggest one very good book for SM. You need not to study ICA study material for SM. Better than ICA study material, one book is there. You study that, you can score good marks in SM also. I'll suggest at the end of this video, I'll suggest some good book, good English revision lectures for strategic management. Okay, all are English lectures. I'll suggest. Now, risk and its management. Various terminologies relating to risk and its management are as follows. First, we have to understand various terminologies. Various terminologies related to risk and its management. First, we have to understand the basics of risk and its management. Asset. What is an asset? Asset can be defined as something of value to the organization. It should give some value to the organization. Asset can be anything or something that gives some value to the organization. Value can be in the form of information, okay, in the form of information, or whether information can be in electronic form or physical form. It can be a software, it can be employees. All these are also assets. Not as we know, assets are not buildings, not only buildings, cars or any tables, furniture, ACs. Not only that, information also one asset as per ES subject, not accounting. Don't go to accounting, that is different. Accounting definitions are different. Here, asset means information also is one asset, software is also one asset, employee is also one asset. Okay, irrespective of the nature of the assets themselves, they all have one or more of the following characteristics. So, characteristics of assets as per ES subject, as per enterprise information system subject, what are the characteristics? What are the characteristics of asset? They means asset. Here they means asset. They means asset. Characteristics of asset. Characteristics of asset. Characteristics of assets. Okay, they are good recognized. They are recognized to be value to the organization. So just this they can ask. I think they have asked in one of the RTPs, somewhere in RTPs they have asked of some value to the organization. Give some value to the organization. Asset, what as per enterprise information system subject, asset characteristics are as below. Characteristic means what, like how it will be, how an asset will be, how it can be. Value, anything that gives value to the organization is an asset. They are not easily replaceable, without cost, skill, time, resources, or any combination. Without any cost, that cannot be replaced. An asset can be replaced only with some cost, skill, time and resource. If it is replaced without cost, skill, time and resource, then it is not an asset. Okay, it should not be replaced without cost, skill. So an asset can be replaced only some cost, skill, time, resources or any combination of the same. They form a part of the organization's corporate identity without which the organization may be threatened. Organizations part of it will become a part of organization without which it will be threatened. Without such asset, if the organization threatened, it will become part of the organization, and if they don't have that asset, then that organization will be threatened. The organization will be threatened, not anything. Entire organization will be threatened if they lack the asset, such asset. Okay. Next, their data classification would normally be proprietary, highly confidential, or even top secret. Proprietary means discretional, decision making, and highly confidential. Such assets will be confidential, sometimes even top secrets, confidential or top secret, or they might be proprietary also. So these are the characteristics of assets. Assets characteristics as per EIS. As per EIS. This is one important one terminology. Threat. What is threat? What is threat? Threat can be any entity, circumstance, or event. The potential harm to the software system or component through its unauthorized access, destruction, modification, and or denial of service is called a threat. Where there is compromise. Okay. Any entity, circumstance, or potential harm to the system or component through its to the system. Anything. Don't try to remember as it is in the definition. You have to say anything. You can say here anything. Make a note of it. Can be anything. Can be anything. Anything. Instead of saying any event, I am saying anything with a potential harm to the software system or component or software's component or systems component through okay, what is happening? through through its unauthorized access or destruction, modification or denial of any service is called threat. Is called threat. What is threat? Threat can be anything. Threat can be anything that will give that will have that will have potential harm to the software system through how the potential harm will happen through unauthorized access. Without authorization, that will have access, or they will destruct the system, or they make certain modification to the system, or they deny services to the authorized users. They will deny the service. They don't the authorized user, they don't get access only. They will deny the service. Okay, such things, anything that can be any entity or circumstance or event. Anything can be a threat. This one, that's all. If you want to read, you can read the rest of the para for understanding. Uh, these kind of things in the MCQs they might ask. What is DDoS? Distributed denial of services. Just have one note of it. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is weakness. Vulnerability means weakness in the system safeguards. Weakness in the system safeguards. What is weakness? Vulnerability. For example, if your laptop or computer is not having any antivirus software, assume if you don't have any antivirus software for your computer or laptop, then your mobile is vulnerable to the hackers. Okay, vulnerable to the hackers. Vulnerability means simply weakness. Vulnerability means simply weakness. In exam of this, you just have to write vulnerability is the Weakness in the system safeguards that exposes the system to the threats. See, if a system is having vulnerability, then threats can easily enter. What is threat? Will threat means is a potential harm to the system. Threat is a potential harm to the system or organization, anything, any part of the organization. It's a threat. Potential harm. Harm means that will make loss for the organization. Harm, right? Threat. What is vulnerability? Vulnerability is weakness. When there is a vulnerability, when there is a weakness in the system safeguards, then only threats can enter into the organization. Then harm the threats will harm the organization. Threats will harm the organization system. Okay, maybe a weakness, information systems, cryptographic system, or anything. Vulnerabilities potentially allow a threat to harm. Vulnerabilities will allow a threat to harm or exploit the system. For example, vulnerability could be a poor access control method allowing dishonest employees the threat. So here dishonest employee is a threat. When there is a vulnerability, means when the access controls are not good, the dishonest employee who is a threat will exploit the system. Will exploit the system. I hope you got my point. Here, access controls are weak. Poor access controls is a vulnerability. Okay, poor access control is a vulnerability. Then here, dishonest employee. Dishonest employee is a threat. Dishonest employee is a threat. Here in brackets they have mentioned. Okay, so if the combination is well enough, there is a dishonest employee who is a threat and he has got some vulnerability in the system. What is vulnerability? Poor access control. Access controls are no passwords. There is no control. There is the cash box is easily available. The cashier don't need. They don't even keep the. They don't even log the cash box. So the dishonest employee who is a threat will will exploit the system to adjust their own records. Adjust their own records. So, to adjust their own records, they will exploit the system. Use of using vulnerability, using weakness, they will the threat will enter into the system and they will exploit the system. So some real life examples of vulnerability are vulnerability means weakness in simple words. In exam, you have to write vulnerability means weakness in the system. Even if you write this, you will get some minimum marks. Okay, leaving the front door unlocked makes the house vulnerable to the unwanted business. You are going somewhere outside, there is no one in the home, you have opened the door. What happened? You opened the door. If you have opened the door, opened the door is a vulnerability. Opened door is a weakness. Who is a threat? The thief is a threat. Thief is a threat. Threat will enter into the system. System means here system is house. Opened door is a vulnerability. House is a system. Thief is a threat. Threat will enter into the system. Means he will enter into the house. He will exploit the system. System means what? House. He will exploit the house. What he will do? He can do anything. He can eat food. He can eat whatever food in the house, or he can steal all the gold. He can steal the gold, cash, or even TV, fridge, anything he wants. He can exploit, right? Or he can break the properties. He can break any items in the home. He can break the TV, etc. Okay, he can break, he can modify, or he can steal, or he can even lock the front door and he can go away. So that's how you lose the access. And one more thing is short passwords, simple passwords, 1234, ABC at 1234. These are the vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities means what? Weaknesses. Missing softwares often determine the level of vulnerability. So this is one thing we just go through. Exposure. What is exposure? Exposure is defined as extent of loss. Extent of loss. Extent of loss. Extent of loss an enterprise has to face when risk is materialized. When the risk is materialized means risk has took its took to reality. The risk has become the truth of the hour. So the risk has materialized means risk converted into loss. So what is the extent of loss? the entity have to face when the risk is materialized. Okay, this is exposure. So exposure means what? Extent of loss that entity has to face when the risk is materialized. Okay, likelihood. Likelihood is the threat occurring. Likelihood of the threat occurring is the probability. Threat occurring probability that threat will succeed in achieving the undesirable event. Probability. Likelihood means probability of the threat to exploit the system. What is the probability? A threat can exploit the system. Attack. An attack is an attempt to gain unauthorized access. Attack means what? Unauthorized access can be attempted by hackers. Okay. In software terms, an attack is a malicious intentional fault, usually an external fault that has the intent of exploiting. Okay, don't go too very deep. So just understand. Just have to remember one line. That's all. They might ask 1 or 2 marks or 3 marks. Or they sorry. Or this can be helpful for MCQs. Okay. Basically, it is a set of actions designed to compromise. Set of actions. Set of action. Set of actions designed to compromise. Compromise means what? To what we can say. Compromise means not maintaining, not maintaining confidentiality, not maintaining confidentiality, integrity, or availability of any information system. So for information system, confidentiality is required. Confidentiality means it should keep secret. Integrity means the data should not be modified without proper authorization and availability. It should be available at the time. If it is not confidential, it is not integrated. The information system is not integrated and it is not available. Then it can be called as an attack. One person has attacked and that made the system to compromise with the CIA. CIA means confidentiality, integrity, or availability. CIA, you have to remember, this is very important actually. We will hear this CIA in many areas. Okay, we'll hear CIA in many areas. You have to remember. Just remember this. Okay. CIA, you have to remember properly. Now, next, countermeasure. Countermeasure means what? An action, device, producer, or other measure that reduces the vulnerability of a component. Just make it action. An action that reduces the vulnerability. That reduces the vulnerability. That reduces the vulnerability of a component or a system is referred as counter. Countermeasure means what? Action. Any action. Any action that reduces the vulnerability. Vulnerability means what? Weakness. Any action we take that reduces the weakness in the system is called countermeasure. For example, in our house and door opened example, there is a door open. That is a vulnerability. What we have to do? We made a countermeasure. We kept a dog at the door. That is assume. That is a countermeasure. If at all any person uh, any person forgot to close the door while leaving house, so the dog is a countermeasure. But when there is a vulnerability, the dog will make shout. They will shout so that threats may not enter. Or else CCTV is also one countermeasure for the house. Even though the house is open, the vulnerability is there. When there is a CCTV, that will be act as a countermeasure. That is an action that reduces the vulnerability. Weakness will be reduced with the countermeasure. Okay. Hope you understand that risk. Risk is any event that may result in significant deviation from planned objective, resulting into unwanted negative consequences. Okay. First, just assume we have planned something. We have planned something. Sorry. we have planned something, some objectives. We have planned certain objectives. But what happened? Due to some event, there is a significant deviation from the plan. There is a significant deviation from the plan. First, we have planned something. There is one event, any event, anything. Okay. Because of that event, there is a significant deviation. That deviation resulted into negative consequences. Negative consequences. First, assume, we'll take one example. What is planned objective? Our objective is to assume our objective is, we'll take retail FMGC retail shop, supermarket will take. Our objective is to increase sales from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs in next to 2 years. Assume that is our objective. What happened? There is one event happened. One event happened. What is one event? Fire accident. Assume fire accident is the event that has happened in the supermarket that resulted into significant deviation. If the fire accident is significant means very big, very important, very crucial, significant deviation, so much difference. What we planned and what is happening. Okay, we plan to increase our sales from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs. There is one event happened. One event that what is that event? Fire accident. That event resulted into significant deviation. Significant deviation means our goal is not happening. It is completely deviated. Now we are, before we were planning for sales, now we wanted to determine what we have to do, how much insurance claim we can get, what is the loss we are having. It is significant deviation resulting into negative consequences. After that event, significant deviation is the negative consequence. Unwanted negative consequences will be resulted. Okay, unwanted, what is negative consequences? Loss for the business is the negative consequence. Yeah, hope I have given good example for that. Hope you understood. Next, depicts the relationship and different activities among the aforementioned terms. So we just go through. Assume we'll just have a brief about these concepts. Owners, owner, countermeasure, vulnerability, risk, assets, threat agents. Owner, owner wishes to minimize the risk. Owner wishes to minimize the risk. Wishes to minimize the risk. To minimize the risk, what he will do? He will make some countermeasures. Countermeasures that may possess countermeasures for risk. Okay, that may possess vulnerabilities. Countermeasures will be done for vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities will lead to risk, so we maintain some countermeasures. Okay, there will be some threat agents. What threat agents means? Which will give rise to threats. Threats to our assets. Assets can be anything, or money, information, data, anything. Is to abuse or any damage. Hope you understood. Just have one brief understanding. Now, sources of risk. Sources of risk, we just go through one reading. Types of risks. Types of risks. Types of risks. Business risk, technological risk, and risk response strategies. Okay. Now, so now we'll see types of risks. Types of risks, business risks, and technological risks. Types of risks. Risk can be what we discussed now, that is risk. The risk can be broadly categorized as follows: business risk and technology risk. Business risk and technology risk. All these are related to business process automation. Just keep in mind automation, business process automation. Business risk is broad category which applies to any event or circumstances related to business goal. Business faces all kinds of risks ranging from serious loss of profits to even bankruptcy and are discussed as follows. So for business risk, the code is, memory code for business risks is for HRS. For HRS. code for business is for HRS for hours. For hours is HRS. We can remember in any way. For HRS is the code for business risks. F first F will refers to F for financial risk. Financial risks are those risks that could have negative financial impact, that will result into negative financial impact to the organization. It can be waste or loss of asset. It can be waste of assets or loss of asset. Just go through examples include risk from volatility in foreign currencies. If there is any change in foreign currencies, then they will have some loss of financial loss. Interest rates, deviation in interest rate. Interest rates are repo rate and reverse repo rate has been increased, then that will result into loss for the business. And commodities and credit risk, liquidity risk and market risk. Operational, next second one is operational risk. Operational risk include risks prevent that could prevent an organization from operating in the most effective and efficient manner. Any risk include those risks, anything that will prevent organization from operating in the most effective and efficient manner, or disruptive to the operations due to inefficiencies or breakdown. Either it will prevent organization from operating efficiently and effectively, or it will disrupt the operation. Operational risk. F is over R. Now R for residual risk. This includes any risk that remaining even after countermeasures are analyzed and implemented. Even after countermeasures are analyzed and implemented, whatever risks are there, that risks are called residual risk. Residual means what? Leftover, rest, remaining risk. So here, even when safeguards are implemented, there is probably going to be some, the risk can be minimized, but it can seldom be eliminated. Residual must kept in minimal. Residual risk should be kept in minimal. Residual risk should be kept in minimal. And like to uh, acceptance of residual risk, acceptance of residual risk, and selection of safeguards. An organization management of the risk should consider two areas. The organization must consider two areas. Acceptance of residual risk is important. They should accept the residual risk. Whatever countermeasures you take, then definitely there will be remaining some risk will always be continuously there. And proper selection of safeguards. They have to properly select the certain safeguards for residual risk, and try to make the residual risks as minimum as possible for HR. Now H for hazardous risk. Hazardous risks include risks that are insurable. Remember, as natural disasters can be natural disasters, or any insurable liabilities, or impairment of physical assets, or terrorism, or any natural calamities. Okay, that is hazardous risk. What is hazardous risk? Important term in this is insurable. It should be insurable. It should be insurable. For HRS, H is over. Now R, again R. What is R? Regulatory. Regulatory means compliance risk. This includes risks anything that expose the organization for fines and penalties, from regulatory agencies due to non-compliance. Any risk due to non-compliance, if it exposes to fines and penalties, that is called regulatory risk. All this risk has to be properly mitigated. How we have to mitigate these risks? By through countermeasures. Again, strategic risk. Strategic risks are that will prevent an organization from accomplishing objectives. That will prevent an organization from accomplishing its objectives, means goals. Example include risks related to strategy, political, economical, relationship issues with suppliers, and global market conditions. So here for HR, types of business risks. Types of business risks is for HRS. F for financial risk, operational risk, regulatory risk, hazardous risk which is insurable, then residual risk, whatever left for after making so many countermeasures, whatever is left is residual risk. What organization management has to do, they have to accept the residual risk and try to make it as minimum as possible, and also they have to maintain they have to keep certain safeguards to keep the residual risk at minimum level. Then strategic risk. Strategic risk means anything that prevent an organization from accomplishing its objectives, be it political or any relationship with suppliers, etc. Examples as mentioned here. Types of business risks. So next, technological risk. Technological risks. Technological risk. What is the code? PMDVD safe. PMDVD safe. It sounds funny, but this is this you can remember actually. PMDVD safe. PMDVD safe. This is code for technology. Just remember, if technology risk comes, then you have to remember PM Modi, PM Modi face. Okay, Modi DVD here. Okay, so just remember PM Modi and technology risks. Okay, PM DVD safe is the code for technological risk. P refers to proper alignment with the business objectives and legal or regulatory requirements. Okay, proper alignment with the objectives and goals of the organization with the legal and regulatory requirements. So our objectives of the organization should properly be aligned with the legal and regulatory. We should not simply say, okay, we want to make some 100 crores, we'll go do drugs business. But legal and regulatory requirements. In India, it is not legal, right? No, I don't think anywhere in the world it is not legal. So our objective should be matched with the legal and regulatory requirements. This is one thing. P. Proper alignment. P for proper alignment with the proper alignment of our objectives with the legal or regulatory requirements. M refers to multiplicity and complexity of systems. Multiplicity, multiplicity and complexities of systems. The technology architecture used for services could include multiple digital platforms. So for our automation purpose, we'll use multiple digital platforms. We'll use different, for mails we'll use Google services, or for attendance we'll use some software. Okay, for sales we can use one software, for accounting we'll use one software. Like that, we'll use different digital platforms in the organization, and is quite complex. The technology architecture used for services could be multiple digital platforms, and all are complex. So we need skills, proper technology skills, and management of the technology could be outsourced to the company having the relevant skill set. So we have to have different platforms. So what we can do, we can outsource certain process or anything, whatever management thing that can outsource. So instead of having so many skilled, like for one platform we need one expert. We cannot employ different expert for different platforms or different works, right? So whatever works that cannot be maintained by the manager, that they have to outsource. That is one risk. Different platforms and the systems are complex. That is one risk. Then D for downtime due to technology failure. So there is a risk that system will be down due to some technical problems. So we have to maintain proper countermeasures to mitigate the risk. Such risk due to technical problems, or servers might be down, or equipment will fail. We have to maintain proper measures for that. Okay. The common example of this term is non-availability of the system due to server failure. Again V. Now V for dependent vendor related concentration risk. There may not be one but multiple vendors providing different services. So vendor related concentration risk means there is a risk that we have to depend only one vendor for all services. There is a risk. Because if the such vendor gives a big shake hand, what happens? The entire organization will collapse. Feel it will disturb. Right? We should not completely depend upon one vendor for certain services. To take example, recently income tax portal is not working. What the income tax department is doing, they are completely dependent on one vendor. They have dependent on one software company. I don't want to name it. So that is vendor concentrated risk. All the income tax related works are being done by that software company. Now the entire system is in trouble. What is happening? So that will happen. To avoid that risk, we have to properly plan. Now dependence on vendors due to outsourcing of IT services. It is also one risk. Concentration risk and dependence. DVD, P for vendor related concentration dependence on vendors due to outsourcing. If we outsource certain IT services to the certain vendors, there is a chance the our data can be manipulated or they can misuse. They can breach the CIA confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the data. There is a chance. DVD safe test for segregation of duty. There is a risk that uh, the segregation of duties as per organization structure should be clearly mapped. Should be there is a risk that segregation of duties might be missing. Okay, we have to properly clearly map the duties. We should segregate the duties accordingly to maintain proper controls. Otherwise, if the segregation of duties are not properly done, then there is a risk of what is that, collusion among employees. They will collude all together. The employee might do some fraud in the company. The segregation of duties is not done. Why segregation is required? If you go to any bank, if you want to make any DD, the DD will not be done by one person. Okay, you have to give the form and cash to the cashier. Then cashier will give to the some other person, who can be some assistant manager or anyone in the bank. Then he will approve and it will go to some other person. So three people will do that. So one person cannot do that like that. Yes, E for external threats leading to cyber attacks. There is a chance that if we do automation, there is a chance that our technology can be hacked or it can be accessed by hackers. There is a chance. External threats leading to cyber fraud. Cyber frauds are crimes. It can be uh, open the system anytime anywhere using internet. So hence information earlier accessible only between them, making available at this also. Hackers and other who could access software to commit fraud. What they can do, they will come through internet. They will access by cracking your codes. Will hack and they will steal all the data and they will sell the data to our competitors for some price. This will happen actually in practical world. This all will happen. What hackers job? They will steal the data from competitors and they will sell the data to other competitors, or they will call to the same company and they will demand certain money. Okay, they will demand certain money to not to sell the data to the competitors. Okay, SEF F for there's one more point. Frequent changes or obsolescence of technology. If we are implementing means technology is keep on changing every day. You see, there are n number of mobiles that are coming every day. Technology is upgrading like anything. The technology we are seeing today is upgrading very fastly tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Every day the technology is upgrading. So in our system, the organization, we need to keep on changing our technology, updating the technology, keep on upgrade the technology. Obsolescence means outdated. Obsolescence of technology means outdated. Frequently technology is changing. So frequently technology is changing. There is a risk. Risk that technology, whatever we implement now, automation, that might be outdated. So again, you have to spend some money to change and update the technology. That is also one risk. So what are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points I have discussed? You have to remember some 5, 6 points. That is more than enough. PM DVD safe. E for proper alignment with the objectives and legal requirements. Then M for multiplicity and complexity. D for dependence on downtime due to technology failure. V for vendor concentration risk. D for dependency on vendors for outsourced IT services. S for segregation of duties. E for external threats. F for frequent changes or obsolescence of technology. This is types of risks. Business risk means F for HRS, F FO or HRS. The technological risk is PMDVD safe. Okay, that is done. So there are some other points you can go through. The data related risks are there that we will cover in other like in information. Third chapter will cover this topic. Will cover in third chapter actually. You need not to worry. Data leakage, because the data information all will come in detail in third chapter. Okay, risk management strategies. Now, risk management strategy. Risk analysis is defined as the process of identifying security risks and determining their magnitude and impact on organization. Risk analysis means what? First, define process of identifying the security risks. So related to our system, what are the risks related to security? First, we have to identify. Then, what is the magnitude? How much it has spread? How much it has magnitude means like how much it spread across? How pervasive it is? And what is it? What are the what is the impact of such risk on the organization? What is the impact of the risk on the organization? Effective risk management begins with a clear understanding of enterprise risk appetite and identifying high-level risk exposure. Enterprise risk appetite means what? Like kind of how much we can eat, right? Generally, appetite means how much we can eat, how much, how capable, how much we can eat, how much quantity we can eat, right? And enterprise risk appetite means also how much risk entity can accept. How much risk entity can accept is called risk appetite. And identifying, first you have to understand the entity's risk appetite in risk management strategy. Then you have to identify high level risk exposures, how much we have to how much entity can accept the risk, that we have to understand. Then we have to identify the high level risk exposures. What are the areas there is a high level of exposure? So that we have to understand. Unacceptable high levels of risk can be controlled by designing and implementing adequate proactive control. To mitigate all such risks, we have to have proactive controls, pre-planned controls. So we have to expect what might happen in future. So accordingly, for such risks, we have to make controls, proactive controls. So you can have one reading, you will understand something. Now I'll give some because if I want to explain line by line, I can explain, but it's a time factor. We cannot go like this. So I'll be making important topics. I'll be covering all important topics. Now, risk response strategies. Risk response strategies. So how risk management strategies? So first we have to identify various risks and we have to make certain controls. What are the strategies we can follow to mitigate the risk? Sorry, to manage the risk. What are the strategies we can implement on risks? Depends upon risk factor. We have to implement different risk strategies. Risk management strategies. Risk management strategies. Heading, question heading is in the exam they might ask what are the strategies, risk management strategies or risk response strategies. Risk response strategies or risk response strategies. Okay, just make a note. Risk management strategy or risk response strategies. First thing, the code for this is 5 T's. 5 T's. Risk response strategies. 5 T's. Risk response strategies. Risk management strategy can be done in isolation or it can be done combination. Like there are 5 strategies, we can do one strategy or we can do in combination like 2 strategies together or 3 strategies together, anything like that. Risk response strategies or risk management strategies. First thing, tolerate or accept the risk. First thing, first T is tolerate. Tolerate means just accept. Tolerate, just tolerate. Tolerate means what? We have to accept. Okay, we'll see. Okay, we'll manage. We'll see. Like we'll accept the risk. One of the primary functions of the management managing risk is some risks may be considered minor because of their impact and probability of occurrence is low. What are the risks we have to tolerate or accept? Such risks which are minor, which are minor, we have to tolerate, and their impact and probability of occurrence is low. Probability of occurrence is low, then such risk we can tolerate, we can accept, and we can just leave it. In this case, consciously accepting the risk as a cost of doing. We should accept the risk as a cost of doing business is appropriate, and it should be properly reviewed periodically to ensure that their impact remains low. It should be properly reviewed, okay, to maintain its impact low. Then terminate or eliminate the risk, especially in the case of risks that have high probability and impact values. High probability and high value, high impact. The occurrence of the risk is high. The occurrence of risk is high. Probability of the risk occurrence of the risk is high, and its impact is also very high. It has to be terminated to modify any project strategy to avoid them altogether. For example, so whatever the risks which are high probability to occur and its impact is very high, then such risk we have to modify. Sorry, we have to terminate or eliminate. We have to eliminate. We should remove such risks. Try to remove such risk. Example is, it is possible for a risk to be associated with use of technology, supplier or vendor. Generally, whatever there is a risk that associated with the technologies, supplier and vendor. If we are dependent on one supplier or vendor, then there is a risk. Or if we are dependent on a certain technology, there is a risk. That risk can be eliminated by replacing the technology with the robust products. If you are dependent on one technology or supplier or vendor, then such risk can be eliminated, completely removed, by how? Replacing the technology or replacing the vendor. Like, next, third one is transfer or share. Risk mitigation operations can be shared with the trading partners and suppliers. Or trading partners, we can transfer the risk. Such these risks we can share. A good example is outsourcing infrastructure. Example is outsourcing infrastructure, IT infrastructure. In such case, the supplier mitigates the risks associated with managing the IT infrastructure by being more capable and having access to more highly skilled staff than the primary organization. Risks also may be mitigated by transferring the cost of related risk to an insurance provider. You can do insurance also. That in such way also you can share the how. For example, there is a risk. We are maintaining our database. What is the risk? If we do not properly maintain the database, proper securities, then there is chance that our data will be leaked to the hackers. Instead of that, and also we cannot appoint a specialist for that because ours is a small company. We cannot appoint a full-time expert for that. So what we have to do? We have to outsource that thing so that we can share the risk. If anything happens to our data, then he will be liable, right? So we'll share the risk. Treat or mitigate the risk. Whether other options have been eliminated. So we have tried all these three tries, and all have been eliminated. Suitable control must be devised and implemented to prevent the risk. So when there is no other option, then we have to have a suitable controls should be devised to prevent risk. So we have to prevent the beginning stage only. We have to prevent manufacturing itself or to minimize, treat or mitigate the risk. Whatever risk is there, we have to implement certain controls to mitigate the risk. Good example of risk mitigation planning is usually in case of an enterprise won't have sufficient capacity or supplies to deal with the high level demand. In this case, enterprise shall have mitigation strategy in place in that them to rapidly scale their capacity. Then there is a high demand for the products. Then what they have to do? they have to scale their capacity. There is a risk. There is a risk they'll lose the customers. How there is a high demand, but they cannot able to make the product. What they can do, they have to increase their scale of operation. Scale means size of operations, so that they don't lose the business. What is the risk? Risk is losing business when there is a high demand. In such cases, we have to maintain proper scale. We have to improve the scale, means size of the production. 5 T's. One is tolerate or accept. 2. Terminate or eliminate. 3. Transfer or share. 4. Oh, oh, there was one. Okay, sorry. There was one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4. Huh? No, I think the material has been updated. So it is 4 T's. 4 T's. There was one more point I forgot. Treat, terminate, transfer, treat, terminate, tolerate, turn back. Yeah. The point was turn back. Turn back is removed, I think. Turn back means we have to just don't consider this. Turn back means we should not. So it's not relevant. I think they remove. So only now it is 4 T's. We'll update here also. 4 T's. Risk response strategies or risk management strategies. Okay, risk response strategies. Now, so okay, now it is work. So we'll discuss. This is. I hope this is enough. 30 pages we have covered. The rest topics I will upload later. I hope these are I'm covering reasonably. Even though if you feel lengthy, I'm trying to make it as short as possible. Okay. In upcoming classes, I'll try to make it short and simple. I will not lag as much as possible. But wherever there is a need, I'll explain in detail. For exam, because if you cover study material, then you can get very good marks in EAS. EAS is a very good subject. In audit also, sometimes there is chance you cannot score. If you, okay, sometimes there will be some bouncers. You can't expect how it will turn out. So such cases, EAS and SM chapters subject will help us, especially MCQs. ESSM, they don't ask difficult MCQs. They'll directly ask sentences from study material. If you have done one proper understanding of study material, proper reading, one time proper reading is done, then that is enough. That is enough. Okay, for MCQs. Okay, now coming to strategic management. Strategic management, I would like to suggest Meeta Mangal ma'am. Meeta Mangal ma'am, strategic management book. I followed Meeta Mangal ma'am's classes only. Okay, that is, ma'am will teach very nicely. You can follow and strategic management for her classes. Okay, that is enough. You just buy her book, ma'am's book. Second. One second, my system is stuck a little bit. Hello. Yeah, my system is stuck. Okay, so I'll share. CA Meeta Mangal ma'am. Ma'am's book is very nice. You can buy her book. I'll give the links. You can buy from Amazon. Also, you can buy ma'am's book from her official website. So here, if you go to CA Meeta Mangal ma'am's YouTube channel, here you can see. Go to playlists. Okay, playlists. Uh, Playlist. You can see. Yeah. SM revision. Yeah, SM revision in English in 8 hours. Actually, around 8 classes are there. 8 days sessions will be there. She will cover entire strategic management from those classes only. You can have very good knowledge. She will cover nicely. You Even though if you have not attended regular classes, I personally believe that is enough. You just buy her book and follow this playlist, and you will get very good marks. Her book is very nice actually. It is short and simple. There is no problem in her book actually. Very nicely she has maintained. Okay, so I don't want to play this. Sorry, because of I think some copyright issues might come. So I'll give the link in description. If you want, you can follow, and also I'll give link in description for the revision classes. Also, I will give purchase link. You can buy from MAM's official website, or you can buy it from Amazon. I'll give the link. Okay, today it's over. Tomorrow, next class we cover from enterprise risk management, ERM concepts. So I'll try to make it as fast as possible from next class onwards. So also I want you to give suggestions. How is my classes? What are the improvements I need to make? How you want, like you want anything more, or if you want anything to be removed from my classes, like whatever adjustments you suggest, I'll try to implement that. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel and also share with your friends. I have started these classes because if you go on searching YouTube for EAS, you will get almost all EAS classes are in Hindi only. Okay, there are South students, they are feeling very difficult for especially EAS. There are no good sources for EAS. Even though if you want to go for EAS classes from North faculty, they'll teach in Hindi, majority people. So that's why I started these classes. And why I have started, I am having good command over EAS subject. Not even SM also I cannot say I have good command. SM I can't say I have good command. But EAS I can say I have good command. I can explain any concept. If you have any doubt, just join my Telegram channel. And in the Telegram channel description, there will be link for my personal Telegram contact. You can ping me, and also I'll try to make one Telegram discussion group also. Okay. Okay, this is for this session. Hope you understood you gained some good knowledge. Thank you. Bye. Okay, bye. See you in the next session.